Hi everyone, and welcome to another video from Revise It Right. This is a revision video for AQA English Language Paper 1 Question 5, and this in particular is going to focus on the descriptive element of that question, how to write to describe something. Now, this method that I'm going to show you works really well for ensuring that your answers are really focused. It's easy when you're writing to get carried away with your subject matter and you just kind of forget what it is that you're being marked on. That's really important because when the examiner looks at your answer, they are judging you against a certain criteria, really, a mark scheme. So you need to be focused in your writing to ensure that you're not only writing a brilliant piece of description, but that you're achieving the best marks possible. You're going to need 3 different coloured pens. Doesn't matter what colour they are, just as long as they're 3 different colours. And you're also going to need some photographs that you've cut out from magazines or newspapers. Now, in the exam, you're going to get your photograph given to you, but it's really good to build up a bank of resources at home that you can practice with. So overall, you want to have 5 paragraphs. Your first paragraph wants to be an overall description focusing on the senses. Your second paragraph needs to zoom in on one particular detail in the picture, a person or an object. Your third paragraph needs to do the same with a different person or a different object in the picture. Your fourth paragraph needs to focus on something in the background or something in the horizon if you've got a landscape picture. Zoom out a bit. And then paragraph 5, you want to zoom right out again to where you were paragraph 1 and give another overall description. It'd be really great if you could have some kind of link between paragraph 1 and paragraph 5. AQA really like that circular structure. When you're familiar with what needs to be included in each of the different paragraphs, it's time to go ahead and actually start the planning process. So the first thing you're going to do is choose which elements you're going to include and which bits you're going to focus on in each of those 5 different paragraphs. So, for example, with this picture, I think I'm going to do an overall description of the weather. Then I'm going to focus on one of these people down here and what they're doing. I then think I'm going to focus on this car over here, might have just pulled up and the driver's going to get out. For my background on a horizon, I think I'm going to focus on these clouds and maybe this cloud over here, which is a bit darker, maybe some rain coming in. And then I'm going to zoom back out again and focus on the weather and the smells and those sensory descriptive parts. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is set up my spider diagram. So I'm just going to put something vague in the middle, just to help me when I look back at my revision to see which picture it was that I'd done on it. So I'm just going to call this one house. I then take one of my 3 colours and I'm going to set up for my 5 different paragraphs. So I'm going to have paragraph 1, I'm going to have paragraph 2, I'm going to have paragraph 3, paragraph 4 and paragraph 5, okay? And then I'm going to go back to my picture and decide what I'm going to focus on. So I said in my first paragraph it had to be an overall description, so I might talk about the weather, I might talk about the smells. Paragraph 2, I'm going to focus on these people down here and what they're doing. So paragraph 2 is going to be my people gardening. Paragraph 3, I'm going to focus on another detail in the foreground, so I'm going to focus on this white car that's just pulled up. Paragraph 4 needs to be something in the horizon, so I'm going to focus on the clouds and in particular this black cloud over here. And then paragraph 5, I'm zooming back out again, I'm looking at the whole picture and I want there to be some link between paragraph 1 and paragraph 5, some kind of repetition, some kind of circular structure. So again, I might comment on the weather and how the weather has changed since the beginning. And again, I might have some kind of sensory description. So then what I'm going to do is swap my different colour and choose another colour here. Now this is really good in the exam because it will help you when you're looking back and forwards at your plan, it'll help you not to get confused. So the next thing I'm going to do is list some linguistic techniques, some language techniques in my plan. And I know I've got to do this because it's in the mark scheme. But it's very easy when I'm writing to get confused, to get sucked into actually what I'm writing and forget what it is that I'm being marked for. So I'm going to put 2 language techniques in each paragraph to remind myself to use them. So that's my plan in its second phase. I've added in the language techniques under each different paragraph. So I've gone for a real mixture. I've tried not to repeat myself too much. I've got pathetic fallacy and simile in the first one, metaphor and some interesting adjectives in the second, some juxtaposition and personification in the third, a simile again and some listing in the fourth, and I've done this deliberately because I want to make sure I can use a colon. And in my 5th paragraph, I want there to be some link between paragraph 1 and paragraph 5, so I'm going to repeat whatever pathetic fallacy that I use, and then I'm also going to include some alliteration. Okay, the third phase of the plan is the punctuation phase. You get marks in paper 1 question 5 for using a range of punctuation. So you want to make sure you put that punctuation in your plan so you don't forget that you need to use it. So with my different coloured pen, I'm going to go in and add those punctuation marks now. Okay, I've made sure that I've got a range. I've got commas, speech marks, brackets, hyphens, question marks, exclamation marks, colons, a real range. And something I always recommend to my students to do is to put a semicolon in the first paragraph and a semicolon in the last paragraph to make sure that you're starting with a really good impression with the examiner and ending with a really good impression on the examiner as well. So now I've got my full plan, I can either go away and practice writing out my plan, or I can just put it to one side and do another one with a different picture to practice including the different elements. It's also really good revision for your language techniques. As you're writing them down, you can check you understand what they mean. And of course in the exam, I'm not just going to do this beautiful plan and leave it like that. When I'm writing, I'm always going to be checking back to make sure I've included the language techniques that I said I was going to include, and I've included the punctuation marks that I said I was going to. There's no point writing out a beautiful plan and then never looking at it again. Pointless. Doing this will really keep you on track, and it will really help keep your writing organised and make sure you're getting those points from the mark scheme. So I hope that planning process for paper 1 question 5 was useful and has given you an idea for how to structure your writing in the exam. You want to give the examiner opportunity to give you some marks. So it's really important that you keep looking back and checking your plan to make sure you've included all those elements. Thank you very much for watching. Come back soon for another video. Bye!